Welcome to the Grindin Jiu podcast, episode number 8. And today on this podcast, I have a special guest, one of the homies from the West Coast, originally from 10th Planet San Diego, Mr. Keith, the Kraken Kirkorian.
Like
What's
that.
going
What's up,
on,
man?
Keith?
Yeah, not much, dude. Thanks for having me on.
No, dude, this is an absolute pleasure. I've been following your career for so freaking long,
Oh,
and just the fact that we've been able to touch bases a few times during
yeah,
our journey,
yeah,
and
man.
now starting a podcast. And since day one, I was like, "Hey, Keith, I'm a small podcast. Is there
Oh,
any way
bro,
you can have a 30-minute slot for me?" And you were absolutely, and
my
man,
honor, dude. Hell yeah.
dude, I 100% appreciate it. Welcome to the Grindin Jiu podcast, where I'm talking about the highs and the lows of jiu-jitsu. But before we go with that, just for the audience who don't know who you are, please, can you give us a little background on how long you've been doing jiu-jitsu and how you started?
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, I started when I was probably like an early teen, like 14, I'd say. But I had done martial arts before then. I started boxing when I was like 8. Really wanted to be a professional boxer. That was my dream. Never really like took off for me, you know. And my gym offered jujitsu, and I thought it was interesting enough, you know. I was like hesitant for a long time, but then someone convinced me to. Yeah, someone convinced me to start. I did, and I really loved it. And then once I started to compete, I really loved competing, and I love the frequency that you can compete. You know, because it's not really something you can do as much in boxing. You know, you can compete, but it's tough. Sometimes you show up, there's no opponents, your weight. Sometimes you get matched up with a fucking beast. You know, in jiu-jitsu, there's like ranks, or there's belt ranks. There's tons of tournaments. You can train all the time. You know, full force and not get too injured. So I really loved it, man. And then I just started to compete. I think in my teens, I was probably 15 or 14 or 15 when my first competition. And then I kept going from there, man. And then yeah, just kept kind of like taking steps up on the competition ladder. And yeah, man, I really loved it, and I loved the grind, and I loved the process, and I'm still here, still doing it.
So when you started jiu-jitsu when you were 14, 15, was that with the freaks?
It was with a gym that I boxed at. It was called the
Okay, okay.
Boxing Club. But they had a jujitsu program in it. It was like called Great. It was Gracie something. But I only really got to train there for like 6 months before it got bought by 10th Planet. And then that's when I met Boogie and them. And they took me under their wing. And I like just weird, man. I just clicked instantly with Boogie. And we just never looked back. He just we kind of both went to the moon, dude. It was really cool to have that relationship with someone.
I got to go to 10th Planet San Diego for about almost a month. I was there for 3.5 weeks. And
Oh,
I
hell
went
yeah.
to I went to Boogie and I was like, hey, I'm here for 3 weeks. Like, just give me a price just so I know so I could. And he said, bro, you 10th Planet. I'll take care of you. And that
Oh,
my man, he took care of me. And
that's
my
awesome.
first role was with, I believe at the time he was a purple belt, was Sloan when he
Yeah,
was with San Diego.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I got to roll with Sloan and he hit me with the caveman choke.
Oh, that's
And
so funny.
and it's crazy. And now looking at his career now is just so sick. But talking about competition, Keith, like back in the day, and then this was like when I first got to know you in general. But man, can you tell me on that run? There was one year where your record was like 89 and 2,
Yeah, I think that
maybe?
was it. Yeah. I think that was it. Yeah.
What that year? I believe you were purple or brown belt.
I was like, yeah. Start of the year I was purple, and then the last half of the year I was brown.
What started that tremble down, that incline where you just felt unstoppable? Like, what was that switch for you? Was it any particular match that you were like, you know what? Like, I could hang with the best?
I don't know, man. It's so weird. Like, I would kind of argue I just got lucky, to be honest. I I was really good at EBI rules, you know. So like a lot of matches, even if I didn't really feel like I was better than the guy, I was like I could probably beat this dude in EBI overtime, you know. And and it just kind of like kept going. Like I would just do a tournament and just like maybe even if there was like a guy that was like better than me, sometimes I wouldn't even run into him. He would lose, and then I would be like, oh sweet, I get to go against the easier guy in the finals, and then I would win, and then I think it was just like just kept going like that. I'm pretty sure at before the tournament you saw me at East Coast Trials, I think I was like 63-0 or 65-0 or something like that, like something kind of stupid. And
Ridiculous.
yeah, and then that day, that you saw me at the trials. That was like my first loss that year was to Ethan Cronston in the finals,
Yeah.
and then I think I got some more wins, and I think I took another loss at the end of the year. But I think it was mostly, to be honest, I think it was mostly due to just like burning out. Like I was just
Yeah.
so tired.
I mean,
um,
it was almost every weekend, like
yeah,
every single
yeah.
weekend.
I don't even know how I found that many competitions, to be honest. I really don't know. I think I was just scouring like Instagram and Facebook, looking for anything, dude. Any tournament anywhere in the U.S. From like 145 to absolute. I was just like, all right, is there a cash prize? Like, is it like purple to black belt? Like, I was in it. So it's just funny, dude. Cause yeah, man, I didn't really even think about it. I just did it because I love doing it,
And
and I
that's
didn't.
and that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beautiful part about jiu-jitsu in general, like jiu-jitsu
yeah,
tournaments. Like you can have 5 to 6 matches
yeah,
in one day, and
yeah,
basically that's 5-0 if you sweep the
yeah,
tournament,
yeah. It's true. It's true.
So
100%.
sick.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
sick.
So yeah, man. It is like one of those things that I think is like cool about jujitsu. You just get into a flow, and it sometimes it just goes for not forever, but for a long time, and you don't even think about it. And like I think it's like one of those just jujitsu things that kind of transcends jujitsu. Carries over into life. You can just get into a flow where you're just like, man, I'm just enjoying training. I'm enjoying looking forward to training, thinking about jujitsu, going to jujitsu, tournaments on the weekend or something. And it's like, yeah, it's just a cool thing that not many other things in life can offer you. And yeah, man, it's just, I think that whole year was just a testament to that. I didn't think, I was just flowing.
Dude, it was incredible. And not for nothing, talking with the guys in general, like whoever I was with at the time, I'm like, yo, dude,
Yeah.
can you freaking believe that this dude is on this type of freaking run, bro? Actually, I was
Yeah.
just talking to Alan. I was just talking to Alan Sanchez
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the last pod, and
Yeah.
and that run was just monumental. And that's when you know, like when someone is on one, they're
Yeah. Yeah.
on one. There's no
Yeah.
stopping
Yeah.
them, you know? And
Yeah,
and
no, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly that. That's funny. Yeah, that's because I had competed against Alan, I think like the year before that, and I remember thinking that dude was so good, bro. He's so good. Like he's so good, and I was so scared. I remember like my buddy was like, he's like, yeah, don't let him get your back. If he gets your back, you're fucked. And then like a minute into the match, he got my back, and I was like, oh my god. And yeah, man, I remember we battled, bro. We had such a war, dude. It was crazy. And but he's so badass. It's cool to see him. It's cool to see a guy that you knew coming up, like come up with you and have like a ton of success. That like just nothing feels better because there's like that like camaraderie that you guys both kind of like worked for and earned it. And yeah, I definitely see that with Alan.
What I like about you, both of you guys, is you kind of have instilled the 10th planet way of doing things, which is always go for the sub. Like we're not, and it may change when you go into like ADCC rules
Yeah,
and whatever, whatnot, but like it's just the fact that the way Eddie has made 10th planet to a system where we're always going for the sub. And not for nothing, to be honest with you, all the matches that I've lost, I've always lost going for something dumb.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
it was probably the wrong thing to do at the time, but in my mentality is I'm going for broke.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
happens,
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
I'm going for the kill.
I
If it
remember that
works out.
that epic Imanari that you shot at Grappling Idiots. You shot like 2 or 3, right? And then the last time the dude timed it, and it was just one exactly what you're talking about. Like you just go for it, which dude I've always thought was so sick about you too. You know, like I think that's dope. You know, and like always respect those guys. And to be honest, I don't want to like talk shit, but like I respect guys like that more than I respect guys that just try to play super safe and boring and just care about winning, because that shit's lame, dude. I think that shit is super lame. Like you gotta want to do jiu-jitsu, you know?
For everybody who's listening to the pod, Keith just brought up literally the most embarrassing
No,
part of my jujitsu, which
no.
was no, it's a good thing at the end because it was a learning experience at the end of the
Yeah,
day. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
shot an at the time I was 300 pounds, and I shot an Imanari roll in the middle of a tournament. I
yeah.
was blue belt, and he was a purple belt from
Yeah, yeah,
Henzo. He
yeah.
was a Henzo
Yeah,
Gracie purple
I
belt. I
remember.
was a blue belt, and I
Yep.
tried to go for this Imanari, didn't work out. And then
Yeah,
the way the tournament worked was since I went for the shot and he got on top position, he got 4 points right off
a
the rip.
takedown into a pass. Yeah, exactly. Yep,
So
I
I
remember
I
that.
was already down, so then
Would
everything was catch up for that. But it was a pretty entertaining match. There was
Oh,
some
bro,
highlights,
this is the people went the craziest during that match because that was so sick, dude. I think you shot like I think 2 or 3, right? And like the first one was like people were going crazy on it, you know. And then
the
dude,
first
it
one,
was a
yeah.
sick match, bro. It was awesome, and I thought that was cool. And like, bro, just mad respect, dude. Like that was epic,
I
you
had a
know.
chance.
And
I had a chance for that heel hook, but it just
100%,
didn't
dude.
fall. It didn't
100% you
fall through.
did. Yeah.
But it was cool, and that's
I,
crazy that you fucking remember that shit because
of course, dude. Yeah, of
that was my
course,
first
man.
super
Yeah.
fight. Anyway,
Oh,
back
really?
to
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah, that was
that's
my
sick,
first super
dude.
fight. First super
Hell
fight.
yeah, that was a sick show, dude. Like both Tackett's were on there.
Yeah,
Spencer Mooney was on there. I remember Aaron Harris was on there. There was Stephen Ramos was
bro.
on
It was
there.
so stacked. Like, and at the time, the only people I honestly knew was one of the Tackett brothers because he was grinding, and the other
Yeah,
one was on
yeah,
the
yeah,
come up. You know,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
myself. Like those were the only names in my head. Like I'm like, okay, these dudes are on the card. This is
yeah,
legit. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
wants me to fight.
Yeah,
Okay, like why not? You know, and
yeah,
Stingray.
man.
Shout out to Stingray for coaching
Yeah,
me,
badass,
even though it didn't go my way. But Keith, like
man.
doing all these matches and you're always on the grind and you're constantly training. How is your body holding up? How old are you and how is your body holding up with all this jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm 25 right now, and to be honest, my body's held up really well. Knock on wood. But like, I've had one surgery that was due to overtraining. Like, it was literally just me like beating myself into the ground and not recovering the right way and not focusing on the right things like like recovery just general discipline things, diet, and strength conditioning and stuff like that. But to be honest, like I've like really prioritized like a strong, a good diet, a good balanced diet, like strong recovery habits like sleep, stretch, mobility, even things like getting enough sunshine every day, taking the right supplements, before and after training, like replacing my sodium after workouts and stuff I never used to even think of, bro. And to be honest, it's made my body feel so much better, like just so much better. Obviously, you get injuries every now and then. It's just like it's gonna happen if you fucking like picking up dog shit, like it'll happen whenever, right? But like just generally, I feel a lot healthier. I'm taking care of myself a lot more, and it's something I used to never ever think about. I'd eat like shit. I'd sleep like shit. I wouldn't sleep at all some days,
Gushers for
Um,
breakfast.
I would have sugar all the time. Just like some days I would only eat candy, bro. I'm not even kidding. I would just eat candy and then the next day maybe I would just eat fucking pancakes or something, like I was just not, just normal shit you do in college and high school and stuff. And but now, man, yeah, like I think I'm coming up on the prime of my career, and I want to really treat it with the I guess respect that it deserves, you know, and I think I have a good shot at becoming the best in the world. So to do anything other than, you know, 100% discipline and 100% focus and effort would be a disservice to myself, you know, and my potential. So, yeah, man, I mean, you know, obviously finding a balance between, you know, not, you know, overtraining, but, you know, also making sure I'm, you know, doing the right things, for my body. And yeah, man, it's
Oh
just,
my
I think it's,
God.
yeah, I think it's, I'm at a good point, where I think those things are coming together. Where I just wasn't mature enough in the past to ever, you know, think like that, you know?
Adult Keith is bringing out the okay. All
Yeah.
right, Keith, I see you. I see you. He's
Yeah,
in here for
crazy.
the smoke. Keith, so you're actually preparing right now. Actually, this weekend, I believe it's on Saturday.
Mhm,
It's Submission Grappling Series, which is
mhm.
usually held in Orlando, but now it's actually
Uh,
down south. So he's gonna have to drive 3.5 hours. Do you know anything about your competition, your opponent? It's a super fight. Is it a championship? Because I know you won the championship last time on Submission Grappling Series. I was there. You went
yeah,
against my
okay.
very good friend Jason Valle, one of my
Yeah,
training
man.
partners and semi
Man.
coach. I couldn't cheer for nobody because it
Yeah.
I love y'all both, so I couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
man.
But it was just exciting just to see because I know Jason's a monster and I know you're a monster. And this was a test for Jason too. Like, hey, how can I
100%.
stack up versus a guy who's killing it right now? And it was a really good match.
Yeah,
It was,
great match,
yeah,
bro. He threw a lot of offense, dude. He had like just like really tough as fuck. Like, yeah, dude, he's legit, man. He's super legit.
yeah, I love that guy. So, anything about your opponent now? Do you know who your opponent is? Is it for the belt for submission grappling series?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's for the belt actually. I should probably ask. I don't think anyone else has won it, and I haven't lost it, so I
True,
assume yeah. So
true.
I assume it would be. But yeah, but it's against Siraj Budram, who's a fight sports black belt. He's been around for a long time. He's got some big wins in his career. And we've competed once. This was a few years ago, 3 years ago now, at Emerald City, I think it was.
Emerald Syria Invitational. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. And I think I won. I don't remember how I won actually, but we had the match, and he was tough. I remember he was like he was not like giving up anything very easily, you know. So I expect the same thing this weekend. I'm really excited though to just, you know, get out there. Obviously, it's a super fight, so like my priority isn't necessarily just to win. My priority is to make it an exciting match and to show off a lot of the things that I've been working on, you know. Less so than at a tournament where you're just trying to win and then get on to the next round. You know, this is going to be, you know, I want to see what his game is like. I want to see how I can react to his game, and I want to show off a lot of the things that I've been working on. And I'm sure he's thinking the same thing, you know. So
Yeah.
it should be a very good match, and yeah, I'm really excited.
Dude, this is so sick. I finally get to be in the pod with Keith. This is so sick. You know what? But I do have a question for you, and this
Yeah,
is
man.
actually, and there's not many people who can actually answer this question, but you can.
Yeah.
So you've won trials, ADCC trials. For those who don't know what ADCC trials is, basically a tournament to see if you can make it to the Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu. The Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu is called ADCC, and this man right here actually won the trials the very last time, and it took him three attempts,
For
four attempts, four attempts. Got second silver twice,
three
by the
times.
way, 3 times. Oh, three
Yeah.
silvers, and then
Yeah.
he got the gold on the fourth. And so now that you did win the trials, you did go to ADCC, you were in the Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu. Are you required to do the trials again, or do you get a invitation if Mo wants you back? Like how does that work now for you?
Yeah. Well, hey, if he did want to pull some strings, he could get me in. But the likelihood of that is near zero. So just to make sure that I'm not just like sitting on the chance that I get invited, I'm gonna go do it, and I'm gonna go win it, man. Like, you know, there's no doubt in my mind. There's There's no hesitation. There's no lack of commitment. I'm going. I'm gonna win, and whatever it takes, dude. I'm walking out of there with gold medal.
Okay. Okay. Got all the smoke, baby. And are you doing the East Coast or are you gonna
Yeah,
do
I'm gonna do.
the East
I'm gonna
Coast?
do East Coast, and then
Atlantic City.
yeah, and then we'll see what happens. But like I said, I'm going in with zero intentions of having to do West Coast. I'm going in to fucking beat anyone they put in front of me and earn my shot at ADCC again.
Fuck yeah. Talk that shit. Talk that fucking shit. Keith, so now I got most of my questions I always wanted to ask, but
Yeah,
some of the times, it's just there's not much time to talk, especially when you're not from my area in general,
yeah,
every
yeah,
time we
yeah, yeah,
saw.
yeah.
Um, so this podcast is about the highs and lows of jiu-jitsu in general. And I always like to start off on the high note. What was your biggest accomplishment in your jiu-jitsu career so far?
Oh man, biggest accomplishment. You could argue it was the trials. That meant a lot to me, especially like um coming close so many times and thinking, that I could do it, Besides that, I mean, there's been like little ones that have meant a lot to me, like the EBI trials back in the day was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do,
The
just because
qualifiers.
the qualifiers, exactly. Yep. Because dude, I just wanted it so bad, and that was the big, and at the time, EBI was bigger to me than ADCC. I didn't think about ADCC. I was only thinking about EBI. Obviously, I'm 10th Planet, the Eddie Bravo Invitational. It, like, like your parent put on like a tournament. Like you want to go to that. You want to win that. Like you want to be a part of that, and that was the goal for me, and winning that was like huge, and then going to getting like a last minute spot in EBI was like the biggest to me. That was the biggest thing at the time, like I just I wanted it so bad. I worked so hard, and I kind of just kind of manifested it, and like and that just meant so much to me back in the day, because that's when EBI was, like I said, it's still very legit, but it was the most legit, dude. Like I valued it so much more than ADCC, which is probably crazy to think about, But yeah, man, that was another big one for me.
That was it. My one of my good wins that I've seen from you was who's number one. I think you went
Oh,
against Gabriel Souza.
yeah, I forgot about that.
And that was in my head, I was like, that's a tough matchup because
Yeah,
Gabriel is
me too.
so he's very, what's that word? I can't even think. He's just so freaking good. He's just so
He's
good.
good.
And I
He's
was
good.
like, this is testing Keith in general. I know Keith is good. I know this guy is good. Like, whose game is gonna come supreme? And
Yeah.
when you took that win, I remember I was actually watching it on the phone. I was helping friends move in Jersey, so I drove like 12 hours to Jersey,
Wow.
helped them take their stuff out, and then we had an hour to chill. And then I just put it on in an empty apartment on my phone, and I'm there freaking clapping. And
That's
that
awesome.
W I felt was like, wow, because you're on national TV. Other than like ADCC, everybody knows ADCC is the Olympics, but just who's number one, everybody, all eyes are on you. Anybody with a Flow Grappling subscription is watching your match, and it was just like, whoa, shit, like this is it, this is it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah, I forget about that, and I don't know how many people remember that match, But yeah, you could argue that's my biggest win, also actually. ADCC silver medalist, and at the time I just knew how good he was. He's coming off a win over Mikey. I remember
That's
just Mikey
right.
like
That's
crazy,
right.
crazy, bro. No one was expecting that, So yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, I remember that was huge. That was huge for me for sure.
That was
Yeah,
a good one. Man, that would
confidence.
be sick. You versus Mikey.
Yeah, it would be interesting,
That would
right?
that would be freaking bombs. Just
Yeah.
absolute atom bombs. Because Mike,
You know,
because Mikey's proving one thing right now. Mikey is proving one thing, and
mhm,
that's just because I'm small doesn't mean shit. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna take anything. And the
He's
dude is legit.
making, yeah, man, he's making a lot of the things that we didn't really think could work. He's spamming leg locks and full guard, and like that's some shit that we thought was outdated, but like, dude, he is making it work. He's bringing everything back, and he's, yeah, super impressive. I love that, man. I mean, I don't know if it's possible because he's in one, and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to fly to Singapore anytime soon, but
Yes, you do.
but
Yes,
for
you
that
do.
match, yeah, that would be sick.
Hey, you never know. You might get a
Yeah.
win bonus of 50K,
Yeah,
baby. You never
that would be
know.
crazy. Yeah, that would be, so. Yeah, I'm like talking myself into it right now.
Hey,
I'm like,
I'll
man,
help.
that
I'll
flight's
help.
not that bad.
I'll help. I'll help.
Yeah,
So
thank you, bro.
so that's definitely the highs of your jujitsu. What was the point? What was your low of
Oh,
jujitsu?
oh man, I've had some low lows, man. Like, like the one injury that I did take, that I was referenced earlier, that I ended up having to have surgery for, was like, it was so poorly timed because it was in the winter, when it was just, I get pretty bad seasonal effectiveness, just, disorder, and I was just coming off like a breakup. I don't like talking about that stuff publicly, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was, facts. I just moved, and it was all these things, and I now, like, I can't even train. And dude, I just remember, like, thinking, like my life, it sucks without jujitsu, and I'm just miserable. But then, dude, it really led to so much positive change, because I started to find things other than jujitsu that I loved, man. Like, I even figured out that was when I kind of figured out that I love lifting weights, and I love, like, like dieting and getting my body kind of, and my sleep right, and my work habits, and my study habits, and my personal relationships, like, in order, like, I love that stuff. And just, man, just like, like, making sure that I'm keeping in touch with my good friends. I'm keeping in touch with my family, keeping in touch with myself, and like, all that stuff was just like, it was born out of probably the lowest moments of my life, and yeah, man, like I said, it can be just a culmination of a lot of bad things that then lead to really good change.
One so there was one event that happened that you were involved in, and it was one of the moments where I even got emotional because I know how hard you work in general, and that was the
Shugyo. Yeah.
Shugio Invitational.
Yeah.
And that I saw you were grinding, you were a monster in that tournament, and you went against Ethan.
And again, yeah.
Uh, and it didn't go your way, and you took it so hard. And in my head, so like I was telling Alan, like, we have years apart. So you're 25, I'm turning 37, so I'm 10 years ahead. So
You
in my
don't look
head, I'm,
older than 25, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
hey, I lost 50 pounds, so it's
Yeah,
starting
man,
it's
you
starting to
look so
show, man.
good.
It's
Hell
starting to
yeah.
show.
Hell yeah.
um and I was, and I'm looking back in general, and I know I'm older, so in my head I'm like, man, you're so young, you got so much jiu-jitsu ahead of you, don't let this shit stop you. But it also talks about the mental health of a competitor. We're used to losing in the training room. It's different when you lose on the stage.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want you to walk me through, because I don't want to talk about
Nah,
depressing shit.
all
But
good, all good.
when that tournament style was fucking outrageous. I think you had a match that was over an hour long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Talk me through that match. Like, how do you mentally prepare to roll for an hour?
Yeah, I mean, well, to be honest, just didn't think about it. It was just one of those flow state things, like, just roll with the punches, take everything as it comes. The longer the match went, the less I thought about it. I never thought, like, oh, I need to end this now. I was just like, I'm just gonna be here for however long it takes. Um, And yeah, man. But obviously it does suck when you put all that work in. You fight through, all that physical, hardship or whatever. And then you lose to Ethan Carlson in the next round, and stuff. And I remember I took that hard, and it is what it is. Not like it's just one of those character building things, And yeah, it sucks in the moment, but you can't let that weigh you down forever,
I I have to ask, did it feel a little good when you saw him go to sleep?
No, bro, it hurt. It hurt, bro. It hurt because I was like, "Fuck!" I didn't even lose to the guy that won the thing, And I, it's obviously there's a part of you that's like, "Well, if that fucking guy could do it, I can do it," And I didn't do it, so, yeah, man, yeah, just nah, and
That was a
I never,
shocker. It was a shocker.
yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, and dude, I never like seen anyone lose.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Regardless of if I fucking hate them or whatever. I want everyone to win. I want everyone to be doing good. So yeah. So anyways, but yeah, it was tough
So
day, tough weekend. That was rough.
so you're a
Yeah.
humble dude. So this funny question that I have on the podcast is probably not really gonna be answered, but was there any time that you called out a grappler? It could be a training partner, a coach, or whatever. It shits and giggles. It doesn't have to be serious, but have you ever called out a grappler and paid the ultimate price with an L?
Huh. Man, I feel like I totally have. I do remember one time Boogie match. He used to line us up on the wall, and he would match us up for partners. This is when the room was a lot smaller. And then one day he asked me who I wanted to roll with, and I picked the toughest guy in the class. And he was like a purple belt, and I was like a white or blue belt. And he was like a tough MMA guy. And I don't remember how that round went or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it went fine. But then, like in an in-house tournament a month or so later, I got matched up with him, and he knee barred me quick, bro. And I remember thinking, like, wonder if this is at all related to
To the call out.
that one time. I couldn't help but wonder. So yeah, that's the only time I can remember. I'm sure there's plenty more, but yeah, you gotta you gotta call out the tough challenges. You gotta seek the toughest guys, and yeah, you're gonna fall on your face more often than not, probably, But I think that just means that that you're willing to take big risks, which I don't think is a bad thing, and I think more people should do nowadays.
Definitely. Before we continue with the pod, I'm not going to take too much of your time.
No
I
problem,
need
bro.
to I need to shout out Cogito Jiu Jitsu for
Yeah.
allowing me to teach the 6 a.m. classes in their facility. Thank you so much, guys. And I need to shout out Pressure Pass Pressure Washing Company here in Orlando, Florida. Um, if you mention the podcast, you get 15% off of their introductory rate. And if you are in the Orlando area and need pressure washing, please call 407-773-1545.
Alright,
Keith,
dope.
I'm not going to take too much of your time.
No
So,
worries.
what is your plans for the rest of the year? We're already in August, end of August.
Yep.
Have trials coming up
Yep.
in 2 months. Is it September or October?
Month and a half, I believe it's like 7 weeks in
7 weeks.
October.
7
Yep.
weeks away. So we
Mhm.
already know that you're hitting there. What is your goals other than we already know you're going for goal for ADC the trials again, but
Yeah.
what is more goals that you have for yourself for the rest of the year?
Dude, for this year, I can't say too much. There's like big announcement coming, but I
Okay.
would like to prove that I'm the best in the world, and I have an opportunity coming up that I think could potentially prove that. I can't say exactly what it is, but I think after that day, at least on that day, I have the chance to prove that I'm the best in the world. And you already know, dude, I'm gonna take it. Even the biggest risks are the things that excite me the most. And yeah, man, that is at the forefront, along with trials. And I think that both those things culminate nicely leading into ADCC next year, and Man, I think like once again I could prove I'm the best in the world.
You have my hand sweating right now. Holy shit. Holy
Yeah,
shit. Uh,
yeah.
do you know when that announcement may be happening? Is it maybe in a few months or?
No, it should be soon. It should be
Okay.
soon. So
All right.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
So
God
yeah.
damn, you're
So
gonna throw that, you're gonna
I'm
throw that
sorry.
here, and then like, but no, I completely understand. There's probably a NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
Exactly. Otherwise, I'd
You
tell you.
can't speak it, or else you get fucked up in the end.
Yeah.
So we don't want that to happen. But
Sure.
you can only imagine, the mind starts taking off, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's as good
oh.
as you think, bro. Trust me. It's a big
Oh,
one.
oh, and
Big one.
I'm not gonna guess because I don't because I'm good at reading people, and if I say it, I know I'm gonna have it, and I'm not gonna do that, and I'm not gonna give these fans what they want. No,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. Um,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
do you have anything or anybody that you would like to shout out for the end of the pod?
Oh, yeah, man. Just all my teammates, all my team. Anyone that supports 10 Planet San Diego, 10 Planet London. I was over there training a ton. My sponsor Perry Athletics. Dude, thank you, man. Thank you for having me on. I mean, you're the man, and so cool to see your journey, dude. And I'm so happy that we even get to keep in contact. I mean, it's been a long time since we've known each other, dude, and just
Yeah,
fate
yeah.
brings us together every so often, which I'm really, really thankful for. And man, it's just so good to see you doing good and see you doing this. And man, it's really, really cool to be able to stay in touch.
Like, not for nothing, you saying that right now. First of all, super humble for feel, so you saying that in general. But the last time we met, it was pretty fucking crazy. So you just traveled to Florida, and I know at the time I'm a New Yorker, so you don't even know I'm probably in Florida at the time. And then you walk into my gym,
Yeah.
you don't even know, and you're like, C-Tech, what the fuck you doing here? I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, this is my gym, bro. Like, it's crazy. Jiu-jitsu is such a small world.
Right.
Um, last three questions. What is your top three submissions?
Top three submissions, like my favorite
Your
submissions, or
favorites. Your favorite
oh
submissions.
yeah, it's gonna be just like it'll really like show who my instructor is, but it's Japanese necktie, Peruvian necktie, and Darce. Is this the three submissions that my coach is mainly known for, and that I became very like familiar with, and they're my favorites. I think they're cool. I think they're effective, and man, I love working on them, love hitting them.
So right now, are you a free agent? Like, as in, you're just going around training where you want, doing seminars, doing, private lessons right now, or are you about to make maybe the change to the East Coast, or you're still basically predominantly on the West Coast?
I'm bouncing around right now. I'm gonna go back to San Diego on Monday to start training for that opportunity I was talking about, and for trials, obviously. And I'll be there for a bit. But then after that, yes, I'm just figuring out what to do next. My girlfriend lives in the UK.
Oh shit. Okay.
And I'm either thinking I'll go live over there. I've been there for the past few months, or maybe we're gonna move over here, and I'll look for like a full-time coaching position, and we can help kind of foster our jiu-jitsu career and our relationship over here. So we're not really too sure. I'd love it for it to be the UK, but I'd love for it to be here too. So we'll
It's
see.
a win-win. It's a
Yeah,
win-win.
yeah,
Absolutely
exactly.
win-win. Keith, the Kraken Kirkorian, I appreciate you, bro. Uh, good luck this weekend on submission. I'm
Thank you, bro.
probably gonna buy the pay-per-view because I
Oh,
always do.
you're the man.
I
Thank you,
always
bro.
do. I always do. All my friends are there. I have to.
Yeah, true,
Uh,
true. Yeah, man, you're
um,
good, dude.
good luck with trials,
Thank
and
you.
whenever you do announce this spectacular match that
It's big. It's
shall
big.
not be named, uh I know you're gonna kill it. I know you're gonna give that's one thing I know. You're gonna give it 100%. You're always gonna go for the kill, and it's going to be an absolute slugfest. And I can't wait to see it. Shout out to Keith. Shout out to 10th Planet. Shout out to Perry Athletics. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thank you for listening to the Grindin Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. and send Cash App to C-Tech at Cash App. Help me get some equipment so I can make Keith look even more beautiful than he already is. I
Yeah, man.
appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, and keep doing jiu-jitsu. Peace. And we are out in
Dope, bro.
5,